legends.
That's it, mate. And that's a good way to be.
It is a good way to be. It is good. You know what else is a good way to be?
Do it.
Rock hard.
There you go.
And stoned.
Yeah.
Preferably both at the same time.
I mean, that's you in a nutshell. That'll be in your eulogy for sure.
Oof.
Chris was always rock hard and high 24/7. Like,
g'day. This is the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast, your go-to for all things Wrexham AFC. Join us as we chat about the highs and lows of our favourite footy club. She'll be right, mate. G'day, beard brethren, Sheilas, fuckheads, and just all-round mother bloody legends.
mother bloody, love it.
Mother bloody, you bloody fuck.
Oh, no, I probably don't want to do that.
Oh, geez. I'll tell you what. Guys, welcome to the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast, the Australian Wrexham podcast brought to you down under by your host, Rousey. That is Adrian. Mate, how's it going?
Going well, mate. Going well. I mean, it was a shitty game on the weekend, but you know what? There are some bright lights at the end of the tunnel. Less comps means more time to focus on the league. So looking forward to deep diving into that.
I'm looking forward to deep diving into that because fuck me, I was depressed after that one. That was, yeah, but we'll get into that. We have a special guest on air with us today. He's looking forward to joining us. And as always, you know, we like to shine a spotlight onto other content creators. So this is another half of the Local Pundit. So he will be joining us today, which will be Sheldon. But we got to get some housekeeping out of the way. You guys know what time it is. It is that time of the week. Do you want to become a fuckhead? It's like, you know that song, The Frozen? Do you want to build a snowman? We should have a theme song. Do you want to be a fuckhead?
Deal.
Oh,
I like it. I like it. Is that the jingle we're going to do every time we do? All right, it's time to do the the usual spiel, guys. Sorry, we just got to get our housekeeping out of the way. And there's either going to be a knock at the door that's like housekeeping, knock, 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 or do you want to be a fuckhead? Written and produced by Rousey. I think either one works.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, we have a Patreon program, guys. Links are in the description down below. We call them our fuckheads because we love them. We like to pay them out, but we also have lots of good fun times with them. Cost you base tier of $5 a month, but there's also a $10 tier and a $20 ultra tier, which also has different benefits. But for $5 a month, gets you access to our fans only Discord, gets you shout outs on the podcast every single week, gets you discount off of our merch store, twobeardsmedia.com/shop, some red hot fucking merch there, and gets you, of course, giveaways in the podcast. But wait, there's more. Early ad-free access. Free access every single week to our podcast. So we've got some shout outs to get out of the way. And we all know who does that because he does it so well. It makes me want to strip my clothes off
and
run around naked. Mate.
Thank you. Thank you for that great intro. I feel it like you most days, just rock hard. So what we are going to do is say thank you so much to all of our Patreon members, our fuckheads, our beautiful people who give for the program. We also have other tiers such as Fuckheads Plus and Fuckheads Ultra, so $10 and $20 tiers. The $20 tiers, we have our executive producers, which is just insane. They're the ones who keep the lights on in the show per se, and keep us going, and hopefully getting our asses onto a plane to Wrexham November next year. So to Not PC, Bryant, Welsh Techie, Anthony and Sarah, our executive producers, thank you so much. I'm glad Anthony has received his 6-month rolling merch. He got a one of the little glasses that I was about to say, Rousey's probably got it on hand to advertise there. There you go. He's got one of those. So he chose that as his. You can pick anything from the merch store, rolling 6-month merch for the $20 tier. So every 6 months you can pick anything from the merch store and it will send it to you free of charge. Sarah has selected a hoodie and that is on its way, hopefully not too far away around the corner there. And I know there's a fair few of our other executive producers who are about to approach their rolling merch as well. So well done. To the rest of our fuckheads, genuinely cannot thank you enough. Aaron, Andy, Will, Chris W, John, Anthony R, Deandra, Mark, Drew, Neb, Ryan, Jake, Vincent, Benjamin, Ryan from Either Wife and Wrexham, Rousey from Two Beards, and fucking this ginger fuck from the local community.
Did you just forget to shout out our executive producers?
Say it again?
Did you just forget to shout out our executive producers?
No.
I swear you just did.
Oh, bro, you got to lay off the edibles. All right. If you're listening to the pod, we're just going to play back when I shouted out the lovely executive producers when I talked about Anthony's cup and Sarah's hoodie. And I mentioned not PC, Bryant, Welsh Techie, Anthony, Sarah. Thank you so much. I know that you guys have a couple of rolling merches going along. Oh, that's right. I said it already. There we go, you pothead. Lay off the weed, you absolute skunk.
Oh, no. If I just did that, that's going to make me look so funny.
Oh, you're going to look so bad. It's going to be fucking hilarious.
Oh, I'll take that. But hey, that just means they just got shouted out twice. So, yay. Go them. But we love them, and we get to interact with them every single day. They've become like a little community of people. And yeah, we all like to just chat shit, especially during the games. And yeah, but we'll bring on our special guest next. What do you reckon? Shall we just get straight into it?
I'm really surprised you remembered we had a guest on, so I'm pretty proud of that. So well done, mate.
I think it's just because I'm tired, man.
Nah, you're all right, mate. I'm just pulling the piss, mate. It's doing what we do here at Two Beards, which is making the other one cry. So let's get our guest on, shall we?
Or making our audience cry.
Either one. It's a really big pick. And to be honest, to get the full bingo card is just to have everyone in tears.
Yeah, that's the Two Beards Wrexham podcast mantra. Just listen to us and you will cry.
And if you're not crying by the end of it, you get a full there's no refund because we're free, whatever.
All right. Well, let's do it. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the episode. They bring on our special guest and we will have some good discussion. Let's do it right after this. Well, beard brethren, healers, fuckheads, and just all-round legends, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Paddy Power from the Local Pundit. Yes, we've had Josh on before. Great guy. Love him to death. Here's another guy who I've had plenty of dealings with. Mr. Paddy Power. Mate.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
How is it going? How are you doing?
Good day. Yeah, not too bad. I've been up. I've been out, had a walk. Mm-hmm. I've been waiting to do this.
Love it. Love it. Dude, so what is... Did you think... Not only about we'll talk about Local Pundit origins and things like that in a moment, but would you ever think that you'd be talking to two bearded Aussies across the water and just be chatting absolute shit with them about a football team we all hadn't heard of, 5 or so years ago?
No, obviously not. But things just maybe keep getting weirder and weirder. I never thought that I'd be doing a podcast with someone out in LA either. So
yeah. It's all a bit weird.
He has Aussies on his podcast all the time. It's definitely worth a watch if you haven't gone over there yet. What the hell are you doing? Get over there, give him a listen and a subscribe.
I've got to ask Josh if that's his favorite, when we talk to him again and just ask him if Australian is his favorite porn category or something, are Aussies is just his niche, because it seems to be a lot of them.
Well, actually, I don't know how many of our listeners know this, but
Rousey used to be in porn.
come on, dude.
No, continue.
Really? Oh no, I was on I have apologized to this, and for those of you that are wondering what had gone on, is I was on the stream and I didn't know I was live. Of course, your boy Rousey here decided to light one up right in the middle of a live stream. Now, this guy here, I got to say, is like the epitome of professionalism because not even not even a an ounce of reaction in him. Like you can't even see him looking about. He just drops me straight out of the stream, gives me the boot, and I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? And then I realized what I had done.
I wanted to shake your hand the minute I heard that. I was like, finally, he's being punished for his actions.
Now, obviously, you're right. You had a bit of a laugh afterwards once it sort of set in, but how did you do that at that time? How did you just not even react to what I was doing? Just, oh yeah, boom, straight. Didn't even see you look off screen or anything. Like,
Well, I was actually paying attention to the chat we were having because this was the Wrexham extra time that I started doing after the matches. So basically, just a call-in show, invite people in. So there was multiple people talking to each other and trying to keep the conversation flowing, and that's why I didn't call you in because I was busy with other people and saw you in the background. Said, "Okay, yeah, he looks ready." Popped you in so that you could be part of the conversation, but listen for a moment. And all of a sudden, I just saw you grabbing something from the side. Noticed what it was. I was like in my head, "Oh shit!" Bump out, done.
Oh, that sounds so stressful. Like I stress about this show when it's recorded and edited, and I'm like to Rouse, I'm like, I'm not sure about this one, man. I feel like when you say so when you have that kind of live kind of aspect to the show. I mean, it's probably I've said this to Rousey multiple times off air, so I promise I'm not blowing smoke up your butt, but genuinely, I think it's one of the best formulas is a call in extra time. Like it's just such a great formula. I used to watch a lot of shows around Australian rules football that did it back in the day. They don't do it so much anymore, mainly because of people like Rouse. But the big thing is, like, was this something that you had come up with? Is this something that you had discussed with Josh? Is this something that you'd always wanted to do? What kind of started it all?
Well, Josh is a big fan of shoot the rehearsal. So almost everything we do is live. We have some discussions about doing some little recording stuff here and there. I'm probably more a fan of doing recorded and editing stuff like that, but I'm teaching myself editing at the moment. The problem I have is I'm just way too slow at everything. So in the background, I'm playing around with it now. I have ideas. The big one I want to do at the moment is a video on the new stadium. So what the options are, what we can do, how big we can go, stuff like that. And I think that needs maybe an edited form. So I'm working on that at the moment, and I may eventually get that out. But yeah, Josh is very much shoot to rehearsal, and we have hours and hours of content every week. Sometimes maybe 20 hours.
Ooh.
Like so when on match days we might have an hour beforehand preview, we'd have the match, and then I added on the extra time afterwards as a call in. So it could be 5 hours on a match day. Josh is on Monday to Friday doing just general news almost every day. Then we have evening shows. I do a stats show sometimes. And then we have other stuff as well. So there's huge amount there. But the extra time was one of mine. Yeah, that I said, look, let's just have a proper chat show afterwards.
That's the formula, mate. That is such a winning formula. Sorry, Rouse, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's just such a great idea. I said to Rouse, we could never do it because of obvious reasons, but genuinely, it's such a great idea. And I look forward to being able to stay up long enough, because that's my problem is as soon as the game finishes, I'm like, shit, I got to go to sleep. It's 4 a.m. Like I got to go. But then next, I definitely want to be up for the next one.
The timing is the issue depending on who it is, because for me, it's easier with the match times because I'm closer to the UK. So like a 3 o'clock match from the UK is five for me. Then by the
Perfect.
time the match is done, it's evening time. Kids are gone down or going down. Tuesday night matches, which are even later, is perfect. So
Yeah,
extra time would be about midnight for me.
perfect.
House nice and quiet. I can just sit down
Whereabouts are you
and
based?
work with them. Helsinki.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I thought
it's
you were a
like
Wrexham local.
no, it's like a bit of a joke. It's two Americans, an Australian and an Irishman walk into a bar, walk into a podcast, We're all over the place. So we're
Because I
actually
thought
covering a lot of time zones. Yeah.
that's so funny because like I genuinely, you thought he was in Wrexham. I thought you were in Ireland. I was like, oh yeah, he's in Ireland. Like yeah, like the Paddy Power. Like I was like, yep, definitely. And
Well,
obviously,
I am Irish,
yeah, you
just to
are
be
Irish,
clear.
yes.
So
But I just assumed
yeah.
that you just stayed a bit. Helsinki, is that? Oh, obviously, you don't have to go into too much personal details, but like is that for work or just like Helsinki?
No, that's the usual story. A blonde Finnish woman went out into the world, grabbed a man and brought him home. So
Love it. Love it. Look, man,
It's
you might have to
always
bring us
about
over because honestly, like, bring over Rouse, see if he can what is it? What's the show called here? Was it Farmer Wants a Wife? But ours is just
yes,
Rousey Wants
yeah,
a
yeah,
Wife.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
is weed legal in Helsinki?
No.
No, okay,
It's
fuck that.
also the reason why, because he didn't want to get swatted.
Yeah, no, had you said Amsterdam or something like that, I'd be like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
I will say though, the episodes that we're doing stuff live when I have to be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning hurt a little
Oof.
bit. So
Oof.
if
Yeah.
you're watching those episodes, sometimes you'll see me be all perky at the start because I'm kind of buzzing on coffee or something else. And then by the end of the show, as we're about to wrap up, I'm like dying, hanging in the corner, going, I need sleep, I need sleep.
I just it's so good. It's so I genuinely didn't know that. That's I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's probably everyone knows. It's just one of those dumb things where we just assume. So that's really cool. So
I got to say, Paddy. I love Paddy. He gets my respect because he's been on the end of a few of my jokes now, and including
Yeah.
how gracefully he handled me lighting up a bong on his live stream. Um,
No, for
it-
those who haven't seen it, the funniest one was the Titanic joke.
oh, the Titanic. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I was also
yeah,
high when I said that.
yeah.
I
If
mean,
anyone missed it, basically we were on stream together, and I was just getting a little bit casual and comfortable, so starting to lie down on the couch, had my hand up, and it was kind of then all of a sudden Rosie starts
he's got
picturing,
it.
oh, he's got it there. He starts drawing me like Jack in Titanic.
I
Oh,
remember this because I was so jealous because I didn't know you guys were mates, friends. He's on it. I just again because he's in such a big. I mean, we're 2.5 hours different from each other, which doesn't seem like much, but it's enough when late night shows. So he's already up late doing your show. I wake up to like this news that this has all happened. I see like a photo of his drawing, and I'm like, what did I miss? And he goes, yeah. Things got weird last night.
I gotta
So it
say,
just sounds like it's just an absolute hoot and a half.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with Paddy, and if we're in Wrexham in November next year, I'd say, hey, jump on a flight over, come hang out with us.
And most of the time, I'm the sensible one. Now, I do tend to go on a rant occasionally because I've no problem calling someone out if I have an opinion on it. But yeah, very often I'm the more sensible one
I love that.
that's sitting in the corner going, "Oh, this is going off the wall."
See, I feel like I'm the sensible one in this podcast, but the problem is because we're both so nonsensical and crazy, that technically most people are like, oh, you both are just larrikins. And I'm like, no, I stress all the time. I am like the sensible one who's like, oh, we need to talk about this. We need to get back on track while he's talking about sex paddles and, half and half sex paddles.
And it's
like,
real.
what do you,
It's real
Yes.
life. It's real. I'm like that in real life too. I mean,
he is.
Adrian's come over to WA and met me in person, and I mean, there was a certain incident with Thai ladies at the bar. So, We'll leave your imagination to that one, but
I've told the story before on stream, whatever podcast. What do we do? We literally crashed a birthday party of a lovely 60-year-old woman, was she, and her whole family. And Rousey crashed it because he'd had a couple and said, "Yeah, I'll get some photos with them." He got the one photo, crashed their one photo, came back to our table, and then the lovely lady goes, "No, come back," and then brought him back for all the family photos, and he was right in the middle, like. You can't make that shit up, man. Like, I genuinely thought this guy was just a bit of a personality. You get off stream or you get off podcast and, he's all normal. He's not normal.
He doesn't seem normal.
Oh dear. Well, how did you like the old Harrogate game? Let's get into that because I know our fans want to discuss some Wrexham stuff. We've had a bit of fun, but Harrogate, fucking ouch. That stung a little bit.
Yeah,
that one.
that hurt. Yeah.
I mean, how on earth, and I'll ask this of both of you and Adrian, how on earth do we have that many shots on goal and not fucking score?
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Jeez. How many shots did we have on goal? Was it like 15 or 16 or something ridiculous?
So, yeah, something close to that, yeah.
We had 21 shots.
I was going to say 17.
And 5 of them were on target. That's why we couldn't score. So out of the 21 total shots, we had 5 on target.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Talking about stats just straight off, stats with Wrexham are deceiving.
Yeah.
Because we don't shoot directly in that same way. When we're crossing in from the wing, they're very dangerous situations, but if you don't get on the end of it, it's not a shot.
Yeah.
So, the stats in general can be very deceiving. Same as the whole possession stat is a bit of a joke.
That's how we got terrorist football. So
yeah, Parky ball special.
Well, speaking of possession, 62% possession to Wrexham, 38%. My only thing about this stat is it is so stupid because we have won most of, if not all of our games this season with less or equal to percentage, of possession, whereas the games we've lost, might have had, more possession or slightly more. This is a little bit more, but I really like your take on that because that's something I didn't even think of. I'm thinking 21 shots. Geez, it didn't feel like that. What's going on? But it is because you're right. Like they're trying to get the ball in, Barney, whoever, running down wing wants to cross it in, ball floats over, goes over the goal's head, whatever it happens. These are attempts that are tried to be assists, not shots, and sometimes they get counted as that. So I've completely forgotten about that as well. What did you think about Harrogate's, I guess, defense? Especially towards the latter stages.
Their defense did okay, but I'm not going to big them up to try and make us feel better. Yeah, they weren't a great team.
Yep.
The amount of shots we got in general, the amount of chances, headers missed, all of this sort of stuff, we did it to ourselves. We just did not finish. Mm-hmm. We should easily and comfortably have been able to win that 2-1. Even ignoring their goal, which came from a corner, but that's a different issue that we seem to have. But yeah, that should have been a comfortable win. It wasn't, and this is the beauty of the cup. It's not a league, it's not a numbers game. Parky, in my opinion, is a very numbers-centric manager. He does things for a season, not for a match. And I think this is where there's a big disconnect between a lot of fans and Parky, is fans will look at it on an individual basis and want the 3 points every single time. Parky's not like that. He's looking for an average point of just over 2 per match in the aggregate, and then he will be up there and be getting promotion. So sometimes when he goes defensive or doesn't go as attacking when I would like him to, that's why, because he's comfortable with the point.
Well, I think what I took away from that match was the fact that Harrogate didn't actually park the bus. They just could not match
Yeah.
us. Like we
Yeah.
were all over them. And at one stage we had a 3-on-1 on the keeper, and
Yes.
we slotted it to old Dobby, and he kicked it straight to the fucking keeper. I mean, it
Yeah.
just I'm frustrating. It was extremely frustrating to watch that game, and it left me rather depressed because I wanted to go on a cup run. I wanted to go on a cup run, and
Yeah, that one in particular was quite poor. Um, Derby was angling himself out to the right-hand side, and he was going away from the goal. So every step he was taking, he was putting himself in a harder and harder position to score. Then the pass that came through to him wasn't weighted correctly either. So he ended up having to take potentially another step to get to the ball before he took the shot. And he's not a striker, and he's not one of our players that we expect to be banging in a few goals over the season. That might have been his best chance for this entire season to score a goal
mm,
because it's not his role. Then on the other side, you had Revan, who can score and can kick a ball. And maybe he wasn't in the perfect position either. He seemed a little bit too close to me.
Mm.
But it should have been an easy roll out to Revan for a tap in. This should be one of those goals where you literally roll it out to him and he can walk it into the goal.
Yeah.
But look, it didn't happen, and it was a big miss. Yeah.
It was a huge miss, but at the same time, there's been a bit of discourse at the end. Obviously, at the end of it, we try to pump ourselves up and make ourselves feel better. Oh well, at least it's one less, competition to worry about and all that. Do you think I mean, I know that we've got great owners and especially new money coming in as well, as of recent as well. Do you think having one less competition is going to help the league, or do you think it wouldn't have mattered? It's just being a professional football club.
Um, Someone saying, "Oh, it's better because we can concentrate on the league," is a little bit of the defeatist mindset that I don't like. However, there is some truth in the matter. If you look at last season in the cup run, it was potentially affecting our league results. We were going back to back Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday with difficult matches. So it does affect it, and potentially we should have an easier finish to our league season. So it's one of these scenarios. If we weren't so high up on the table, everybody would have been chomping for that FA Cup run, because that might have been our big highlight of the season. And of course, Welcome to Wrexham is absolutely dying to meet a Premier League team
mm,
in a cup. They really want to get to that because that'll be huge for the show.
Yeah.
But leaving that aside, yeah, I would like to be in the FA Cup. I would like to do a run, but you take the silver lining from it is that look, now we're doing well in the league. It will help later in
well,
that running.
here's my silver lining. Then definitely got the old nads tickling. Um, yeah, Daddy Bodfordson, Daddy Chill.
Yes.
Daddy
Now,
chill.
I actually quite liked his performance. I mean,
Who's your
he got
daddy?
himself into some threatening positions. He um looked really good. I mean, he could have easily scored that absolute sitter that was passed off to him, and he put some fucking boot onto that too. Wow. I quite liked I like the look of Daddy. I tell you what, he can be my daddy any day. But yeah, like what were your thoughts on old Daddy Bodfordson?
His first touch, I was like, "Ooh, we've got someone here." The high ball coming down, and you could see him watching it and tracking it, and put the boot on the end of it. Now it did go over the bar, but not by much. He was actually closer with a shot like that than anybody had been. Our balls had been going left, up, out, every which way. And just that first shot, I was like, "Ooh, that's skill." That's history of playing at higher levels. Reminded me a bit of Fletcher, but obviously he looks younger, maybe a little bit leaner, expected to be faster. And then later, the second shot you mentioned there, which was from the left hand side, his scorcher in on the goal. Some people said that he should have done better, and maybe he should have, but he was doing a typical striker shot where he was not looking at the goal at all. He knew where he was on the pitch, and he was again tracking that ball coming down and nothing else. And he got on the end of it and leathered it. And unfortunately, it hit straight at the keeper, didn't fall anywhere nicely. On do that 10 times, you probably score seven, six or seven, So that was a
It
fantastic shot
actually
as well. And
goes to say that the Harrogate keeper, fuck, he had a hell of a game, didn't he?
yes, a few times he saved them. He was in the right positions. He did his job well. And again, maybe we weren't clinical enough to push it slightly at a harder angle. Some of the stuff that came in direct, came in straight. And on a different day or a weaker keeper not playing as well, absolutely some of those could have gone in. But he did do work because it's not easy taking shots like that as well, even if they are straight at you.
Oh yeah,
So
that
he
one, that
saved he
one
saved them.
straight to the chest of the keeper would have
Yeah.
stung like a motherfucker.
It's like you see I don't know if you've seen them with they get the ball machines out where they can, it has like the speeding, I don't know,
Yeah.
thing, you know what I'm talking about? And then they
Yes.
plop it in there and it just like
They're
shoots
off the
at it.
walls.
Yeah. That is
Auto shooters.
100% one of those, hopefully for him, is one of those training drill things where he's like, it hurts, but he's probably used to it. So, look, I don't know.
You got to be bloody brave to be a keeper.
For sure.
I mean, have you seen that?
Insane as well.
Have you seen that compilation on YouTube of keepers taking shots to the nuts?
No.
Oh,
of course that's part of your algorithm, Rouse. Of course that's part of your algorithm. Jesus Christ.
I'll send it to you later because I mean they do, and I was a bit curious one night and I went searching. I was like, I'm sure that this has probably happened to keepers before. And there's a whole compilation of it, and my gosh, it looks bloody painful. Made me wince. So I'll send it to you later.
My son is an ice hockey goalie.
Cool.
So he's taking shots to the head on the helmet regularly, and he does not shy away from them at all.
Wow.
It's like, well, that's what a helmet's for.
Yeah.
I didn't actually realize how hard some of these were coming in because he turned around to me one night and he just goes, that was a good game, some nice hard shots, and he said, yeah, my ears are still ringing. I didn't actually realize like how
that's how hard it's hitting
sometimes he is. Yeah, bouncing off the helmet.
A hockey puck is not soft. Like, no. I'm not saying a pumped up football is still pretty hard. Yeah, but like that is solid different.
Rubber,
yeah.
And the thing is, at his age group, the children on the ice advance a little bit faster. So their shots are much harder than kind of the keeper. The keeper's left behind a little bit because he's not grown yet. He hasn't had his growth spurt and whatever. Big goals, small kid, and fast shots coming in.
Doesn't help. But good on him because like these, what was it? I mean, it's part of the doco they mentioned, goalkeepers are crazy. Like they're, you got
to be a little bit crazy to
Exactly. And I think that's what it feels like with hockey goalies, but also like I don't know. There's something super like scary and brave at the same time about that all. But like, yeah, Harrogate's
goalkeeper.
How's that?
I should be a goalkeeper.
You would be great, Rouse, and I would love to see a compilation of your nut shots.
Because... I have a quick question on goalies. Was anybody disappointed we didn't see Burton?
I'll be real. Not so much, mainly because I was really just wanting to win. And I'm not saying he couldn't have done it, but I was still thinking it was a banana peel game, which I guess it was. But I was just like, put on a full team. Please just put on a full team. I don't care.
Parky's selection of leaving Lee and McLean out, I kind of questioned that a bit when I first saw it. I was like, this is...
they need rest, especially McLean, man.
I know, but it felt a bit off. And I think he was lining up with a 4-4-2 at one stage, which is not the formation that they usually play. And then obviously he went full attacking towards the end and brought on obviously Daddy and Mo File. and had three strikers. I mean, how you don't score off that? I mean, it just wasn't our day, I think, at the end.
Well, Fall did score.
Well, yeah, I mean, offside or not?
No,
I mean,
no,
it
he
was
was just
marginal.
onside.
It
It
was
was very, very
marginal.
marginal. Yeah.
Maybe his head was offside or something. I don't know. But
Rats just like anything to say that it was not, it was bullshit. Redo it, replay. But nah, look, I think it's a good. I'm starting to look at. I didn't look at it at the time when people were posting on X, Twitter, whatever you call it. That it's the silver lining is we don't have to worry about another tournament and a league. And I was like, shut up! I wanted an FA Cup run. We get a boost in money. We get whatever. But I think now I'm having that outlook that you've just mentioned, which is end of the year when it gets to that pointy end, it's a lot harder to get promoted in this league. Yeah. This is really going to become important.
Yeah, I think my silver lining is that at least we're not Northampton getting beat by an 8th tier team. Oh,
yeah. Look,
that would
take
suck.
take the silver lining, but don't pretend that it's a good thing.
Nah,
that's the thing. You have some people going around saying, "Oh yeah, didn't care about the cups. Cups aren't important. Get promotion." I'm like, yeah, a bit of cope there now. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, bit of copium.
Do you reckon that's going to get the boys fired up for Mansfield?
Yes, I hope so. Did you watch the interview afterwards with Daddy?
No, tell us. I did.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was in one way. I was slightly surprised that he was thrown out there to do the interview first time, but of course they would be interested in hearing from him because he's our new player.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, he turned around and he said the boys are going crazy inside in the locker room. He said they're really unhappy, and he likes that kind of passion from them.
I like that kind of passion. If my team has just lost in the cup against a lower team, a team we should be putting away, and haven't beaten since 2020, and genuinely, I'm just like, I want them to be mad. I want them to be raging inside. Do you think? Like Rousey mentioned it briefly. The players that didn't play, so people who weren't put in that starting lineup. Do you think that they're extra passionate about going that could have been different if I was there, that kind of thing, and really trying to prove themselves for league? Or do you reckon it was just purely resting because the sake of being able to rest them?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. In the back line, I don't mind the change. My opinion on that one, taking Scar out, is that he is slow rolling O'Connell out of the team to being more of a bench player. He's been our guy for a while. So I personally think that's just a little bit of man management. That, he's doing what he's asked, he's moving around, he moved out for Scar. I think soon enough he'll be on the bench more regularly. So I think that was just a little bit of man management saying, look, you're still my boy, we still need you and whatever. So I'm happy to swap you in. Didn't really have an issue with that. Could Scar have saved the goal from the corner? Look, maybe, but that's something so out there you can't tell.
Well, that was actually,
if Scar was there, he would have saved it.
That was actually Revan's.
Yeah, he let him go and he came running in. So yeah, it's not on the defense there. I don't really have a problem with that. McLean then
had that been McLean and not Revan, might have been something different because McLean I have a feeling might have been a bit more switched on. Whereas Revan is obviously still young.
Yes.
Still learning a lot. I know he's got championship experience and all that sort of stuff, but he's still young. He's under 23. He's still learning the ropes, still, got little facets of his game that he has to iron out. And whereas McLean, I feel, he's our talisman, our captain, and he's there for a reason. He's been to the Premier League. He's done all, he's got all that out of his game. So I have a feeling that if McLean was in that same position, it would have been a different outcome, and
very possibly
you wouldn't have got away. But that's just what my opinion is on that one.
I mean, I think the big thing for me at the end of the day is like I always say this, and I know it's such an obvious thing. You need to score to win games, no shit, but we didn't score. So I think regardless of if McLean played and that didn't go in, maybe another one went in. Maybe they played better because they're like, well, actually, we're still in this against Wrexham. It's 0-0. Let's keep keep going, boot to leather, but it's all semantics at the end of the day. And I think I like that you've explained that one where, Daddy has said that this is they're all raging. They're all raging in the locker room. And that's what I want to hear. And I'm hoping that kind of continues, because that's something that we as a football community fans, whatever you want to say, is such a paramount thing. Is you want them playing for the badge, but you also want them to win every time. Doesn't matter if it's a scratch match, exhibition match. Shit, they were getting riled up during the American tour. Like our players were getting upset, about certain things happening there. And I'm just like, it doesn't matter. There's nothing on the line. But you talked about defeatist mentality before. I feel like we have a very good winning mindset under Parky. And although he might just want to get the 2 points and above, I think the boys, or every person who starts, wants that win more than anything.
Yeah, I agree in general. There's no issue there. I think you can see this in McLean and McLean's attitude. The issue I have had with him is he has reached his current ceiling. He's playing as well as he's going to play. He's not, in my opinion, he's not going to get better. Now, the fact is that's a very high standard in general, though. So he's going to give you your 7 every match, basically, and he's going to do the things he does. My question then is with Revan coming behind. Revan has not hit a ceiling. There is levels that he can go up to, and he's not going to get to those levels without time on the pitch. So how do we balance this? And I think after that match, McLean's going to be back, starting every match. Revan's going to have to wait longer. He's going to have to be more on it in training. But he looks good from an attacking perspective when he's playing. I like the way he plays. But is he then lacking a few other qualities from not having the experience? And maybe that's what led to the goal. And some of those elements could hurt us. So I think Parky is going to take the easy option, which is he's not ready. McLean's in. We get our 7 and we deal with it.
So I want to just challenge that perspective a little bit with McLean. So obviously with McLean, he's had over 100 caps for Ireland. Played in the Premier League, played in the Championship, played in League One. Would it possibly be more of a case that McLean may be good enough for Championship? He can just plays to his current level. Like you see guys like Barnett making the step up every single time. Who else that came up with Clewith, obviously making the step up. At one stage we didn't think he would be good enough, but all of a sudden now he's obviously solidified his spot in the team. So should we go up to the Championship, maybe McLean will step up his level for the Championship. I mean, he's more than fit enough to play. I mean, the dude's a fucking monster. So my challenge on that would be, I think McLean is good enough. He's probably not Premier League material anymore, because you have to be basically an Adonis, a fucking god to, someone that's extremely good on the ball and consistent and no mistakes to actually excel in the Premier League. But I do think that it could be a possible case of he goes up to the Championship with us, which is why he's got another year on his contract. He goes up to the Championship, he could possibly still compete.
But the other thing is he's captain, right? Because they believe in his obviously in his leadership skills as well, right? So they're not going to give him, they'll give him that extra year, because think about it, we got rid of our last captain. Last 2 captains, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Young and Tozer, because we had outgrown them and they just weren't up to the billing. Now, McLean is a little bit older as well. Like, it's another year on him. Here's the thing. I don't question him. I still think he could manage. But I think what Arky needs to look at, or is looking at with Seb, and needs to look at a little bit more is, do you want to be, if we are to go up, because again, there's no certainties in that either. If we are to go up, do you want to be there for a long time, a good time. They want to be there for a long time. They don't want to be there going, we got there, we did it, and then go straight back down playing old players that can't kind of match it. And to your point before, you mentioned that Seb can't learn in the championship. Like, do you know what I mean? He can't learn there. Like, it's exactly right. Like, he has to learn now or never, if that makes sense. Either that or we're loaning him out somewhere that he can get that game time in to do it. And now we're in less competitions. I kind of tend to think that, yes, McLean is the answer right now, but he's not really the answer for the next 5 years.
But in some cases, a long time is a good time.
I wouldn't know, mate.
Oh, come on, Adrian. I love you long time, mate.
Okay. If you look back at last season and the difference in the team between the first half and the second half, it completely switched. And I expect this to happen again this season. If things happen naturally the way they're supposed to and people step up. So the end of this season, we should be seeing Seb as the natural number one, and McLean having pulled back to being a very solid number two. Now we saw it in the last match when he came on, because of his engine and his energy and his work rate. He looked much better doing only the last 30 minutes than I think he does playing the full match. So yes, you can say he has the gas tank to do the full match, but he starts then against players who are also starting on a full tank. So it's a different scenario. You start putting McLean on later when he has that full tank and he knows he only has 30 minutes to do and he's going all out for absolutely everything. That's what you want. But Seb isn't ready to take over that role yet.
No.
I think that's clear. I see he could be. I felt McLean's role this season was going to be more of a sub that comes on at the end with fresh legs and can do a really good job. But he's just still so solid. He's just not at the top of his game like he used to be, and it's a higher level, and he's able to do it. So League One, absolutely. On the bench in Championship, maybe. Yeah, as an extra, absolutely. But he's on the way down now. I'm sorry, but we have a mix in our team. Some are on the way down, some are on the way up. And Mullen and others who are getting older are have very little extra to jump up to.
I'm
They
glad
are
you
what
just
they are.
I am glad you just brought up Paul Mullen because I do want to get into that because
Do you?
yeah, I do. I do. Now, I've been singing Paul Mullen's praises for a long time now. He obviously has been through a bit. He's had his back surgery. He's come back. He's still not scoring goals. Like, how long does he need to get match sharp and match fit to like? Have we actually seen like? Because bear in mind, he hasn't been in League One before. He got a team
Yeah, he
promoted
got
to League
promoted.
One, but he's never actually played much in League One or at all.
Yeah.
Now, I'm questioning, have we seen, are we now at Mullen's ceiling? Or is he in a form slump? Or,
Form slump. That's it.
like you can't argue with the fact that he scored over 100 goals for the club in a matter of, 3 seasons. But at the same time, we're now in League One. He's come back. He's been given the starting role, and I mean, yeah, he's causing a bit of issue, but he's not finishing right. He's not putting the ball into the back of the net. So I would like to sort of say, or start this conversation is, how do you see Mullen? How do you see where he's at? Will he come back? Will he score 20 plus goals for us this season? Um, and why hasn't he done it just yet? Like,
Hasn't he scored 20?
huh?
No, it's all right. I'm just making a joke. It's all good.
Yeah,
Sorry, you go first.
I have a lot to say on this actually. If I'll try and get through it as quick as I can. One, his contract is too long. Shouldn't have been extended. For me, there was no need to extend it. except I think they wanted a bit of marketing angle, and they wanted to just say with Mullen, you can stay here till you're done, because that contract does that. So maybe, look, I don't care about the money or the contract length. That's fine. The club decided to do it. This is probably Mullen's level, League One. If we go up to the Championship, I could see him again being a bench player and coming on, doing 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, absolutely. He's been injured and badly, but we do have an analogue for this, which was last season. The same thing happened in a different way. He got his ribs broken. How many matches did he play when he came back before he found his form? It was quite a few last season. Are we expecting too much from him this soon? I say yes. And we probably are this season asking that of him because Marriott went down. Marriott was doing well. He was working within the team. If he was still here, there would not be this pressure on Mullen. Last season, he took it on. We had no choice again. He had to just keep playing, and until he found form, we had to make do. And the rest of the team stepped up and added some goals. And this is what we have to do again this season until he's there. But the signs of old Mullen are there. Like we see it. He's getting on the end of balls. He's getting close, and he's just missing. And when he misses, he does his Mullen thing, sometimes acting like a spoiled child, shouting at the people around him, smacking the ground, walking over to the ref, making a nuisance of himself, getting a stupid yellow card for nothing, which I absolutely detest, by the way. Getting a yellow card for mouthing at the ref is the most stupid thing you can do.
Damn.
But look, you can see the passion. So I think it will come back unless there is something underlying from the injury. But I don't see that. I don't see that at all. From the positions he's getting in and the shots he's taken, I think it will fall. But I don't think we should be expecting 20 from him this season. I think that's potentially pushing him too much because he has never had the secondary partner that is producing 10 to 15. His partner should be producing 10, and Palmer's not going to do that. Now, looking at Daddy and the way he's shooting, he's going to score goals. How many? I don't know, but he will be shooting. He will be attacking on his own. He won't be waiting for Mullen to do the job for him. So if Daddy comes in and maybe you're looking at him to score 7, 8 goals, maybe 10 by the end of the season, and you're asking Mullen to do 15 or more, that's what we need. That'll get us to where we are. And with the rest of the team, they score also. So maybe we're pushing him too hard, or maybe he's pushing himself just a little too hard. Bit of both.
That's literally, yeah. You couldn't have said it any better. Honestly, I can't put it any better than that. But what I will say is, for me, is this same, like you talked about it already, but this same conversation happened this time last year. The exact same conversation. The dude, went down with the punctured lung. Recovery was crazy. He still came back early, by the way. Like both of them, he came back early. Even this one, and the reason he's coming back early is to ease himself into it. Now, for Mullen, easing himself into it isn't playing 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Yeah. It's playing a full slog and then maybe being subbed off towards the end, because that's how Mullen's work rate is. He's hard on himself. I did mention in previous podcast episodes that we see him constantly. Possibly what he was doing in National League was there was no pressure or stress. He knew his capability. He knew what he was able to do. Yeah. So when he was in those easier positions that you see him, putting it top left corner, that's why. But we now see that added pressure on him, and you see him beat himself up. You see him slapping the ground, slapping his thighs, sitting there, going far out, swearing to himself, arguing with the ref. And that's the sign of someone who's frustrated because they know they can do better, not because they don't think they can't. It's not that the game's gone past him. I completely agree. If we go to championship, he could be, the next super sub that we have. Heck, could even be starting a lot of the comps that we play as well. But the expectation that this guy has had he had like a massive surgery that should technically any normal human being probably still isn't even back yet. Do you know what I mean? Like so he's going to be teething. He's going to be going through this. I'm just reiterating, but simply put, everyone needs to calm down. It was the expectation that Marriott put, and then last season, the same conversation was put because Elliot Lee was putting goals away and he was kicking a bunch, and then we were like going, why isn't he scoring? Well, now the same conversations happen. Well, Marriott was scoring. Why can't you score? Well, it's the same situation. He'll come back. You watch after Christmas, exactly the same as last year. When we start to turn things around and get on the tear, that's when he's on and that's when he does his best football. With or without a second person, like you said, Palmer wasn't doing this last year. Palmer's having a great season, but last season he was no help to him. No one was any help to Paul except for maybe Elliot Lee. So think about it this way. He'll be back. Just give him time.
Mm.
But we certainly don't have any other options anyway. For anybody who wants another option, we don't have one yet.
Yeah.
No, you gotta. I mean, I do fall more in the. I am getting impatient with him. I got to be honest, but at the same time, I mean, what he's proven to be capable of in the past shows that he is more than capable of competing at this league and putting away goals. It's so frustrating seeing him have so many chances and create so many chances, just not finishing them. You know, you got Ollie Palmer, he's on 2 goals already this season. So whether he gets to 10 or not, I don't know. But
shit, if Daddy can fill in the gaps
on 4. And so we got people there that have scored or can score. Now, obviously, we brought in Daddy, and I think, you know, maybe I'd like to see that partnership explored a little bit more. But can
I just put one little thing out there to you, Rouse, just purely off of the frustration that you mentioned. And I get it. You're allowed to be frustrated. You're allowed an opinion. You're allowed to feel the way you feel about the team that you love, right? We've played 13 games in the league.
Mm-hmm.
How many of them did Mullen start? Probably less than 10.
Yeah, less than 10.
A lot less than that.
Yeah.
Because he was coming on as substitute for Marriott.
Yep,
so
that's right.
I think he started maybe 3.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's something we really need to give this guy some slack. Perspective is the season has 42 matches in the league, right? Is that right? 42?
Yeah, 46.
46. Fuck me. We're talking about 13. What are we at? Fucking week 13.
We've completed 28% of our season.
Jesus Christ. So he's not started even a third of that. He's not been able to be given that opportunity. He's had his wingman or the person who was on the tear to help push him to those new lengths, so he didn't have to come back so soon and go out on injury. I don't know what else we could ask of him. I get frustrated with this narrative that, oh, well, we're getting a bit impatient now. You know, mate, it's fucking week 13. We all need to relax.
Oh, you guys have changed my view. You made me feel better. I tell you what, they say, you know, when you're sad and depressed, it helps to talk about it. And I got to admit, you guys have just wrapped your arms around me and given me a bit of a cuddle and a talking to, and I'm see the light. So thank you, Paddy and Adrian. You've shown me the light.
It's the hope that kills you, is the famous phrase, right? And the problem is, everybody or a lot of people have changed their expectations for this season simply based on how well we have started. Because we are up there and we are so close. We are so close that people are considering second. We want second. We want automatics. We don't want playoffs. We want second spot now for a lot of people. So anything that's kind of not hitting that target is disastrous. So we do need to relax just a little bit, but we are very comfortable for playoffs so far. You know, we need to go on a significant slide to
I think you're onto something there, because both me and Adrian, we backed, you know, second spot from the start, even before the ball was kicked. we both said we think Wrexham's going to end up second, and that I
First time I've
truly
been optimistic in a season ever.
Okay, when did you make that prediction?
What? Well, geez,
2 weeks before the first game.
Yeah, 2
weeks
weeks
before.
Okay, so you'd seen the majority of the players that have come in,
correct?
At least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't just going, fuck it, we're doing it.
Well, by then,
Yeah.
Scar hadn't come in, and I think he just picked up Rathbone and
you know what it was?
Dobson.
I think we got a bit high on our own supply with the US games because we competed so well, and we were just like, holy shit, we're gonna do it, like, you know. And I think, but even now, like I'll say this, and I'll say this again, I would be happy if we finished middle table, avoiding relegation comfortably. Obviously, I don't want that. But I'm saying you have to also be under the impression that you want to either stay in League One or get out of League One. Anything less than that is a problem. This is our first year in it. No one's done back to back, however the fuck many. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so it's, you got to, again, give the side some slack. If we get to playoffs, that's what I would love. Playoffs would give me absolute reflux to the point of going to need surgery. But like, it would be fun and a really good test of our will and character as a side. Because, you know, when we are, you know, in that self-belief and really on something, we can kind of beat most people most days. It's just, unfortunately, that's not how the league works.
Well, there's a big possibility here. Let's say we end up in the playoffs.
Yep.
That we could be meeting some of our old friends from last season.
Oof.
That's possible.
Well, Mansfield, who we've got this weekend.
Yeah. This is a big weekend. This is a really interesting weekend. It's not do or die. It's too early in the season, but the next two matches are somewhat important mentally because it's Mansfield and Stockport back to back. And then things get relatively, a little bit easier.
Well, Stockport just coming off an absolute fucking stomping.
Hammered.
Got absolutely hammered. But
did you see
I'm glad we're not next for them.
Yeah.
Well, I actually said, because I made a criticism about Stockport when they were going on a big, decent run. They actually hadn't really versed anyone of note.
Yeah. They had weaker teams.
They've had the weaker teams, and whereas we had the harder teams, and we've gone against a lot of the harder teams away now. They've got to come to us.
Yeah.
Now, that said, you know, Stockport, they're starting to see that because now they've come up against the harder teams like your Birminghams and all that. They're starting to struggle, and that 5-0 thumping, that's going to sting with them. But, I mean, Mansfield are sort of the same, but they did really well against Birmingham.
I think they're better.
Really well.
Oh, yeah. I'm very surprised that Mansfield is this high, especially after they lost DKD. I was not expecting them up here. I did expect Stockport to be higher than Mansfield. Mansfield fans did not expect to be this high at all.
No.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people didn't expect the teams come. I mean, Crawley's obviously they're well and truly at the bottom now, but the teams that have come up have done exceptionally well so far. But I think, you know, bar a few games, Mansfield are yet to really, really be tested. I'd like to see them fully. Like, I know they've played Birmingham, but they've still got to come up against some tougher sides, and this will be a test this weekend. They've got to go away to us, to Wrexham.
Yeah.
And that everyone knows that is one of the hardest things to do is go to Wrexham and play at the racecourse.
Yeah.
Stoke Kairas.
To get 3 points at least. That's for any away side. But I think a lot of these teams are giving that Parky mentality that we talked about, you know what, if we can get those 1 point away, then it's a win as long as we win that home leg. There is a lot about that with Mansfield, I feel. And it is third versus fourth. Just a quick stats there that Wrexham have played 13 games. Mansfield have only played 12. 7 wins each. We've had 4 draws. They've had 3. We both had 2 losses each. Sitting on 25 points we are, and they are sitting on 24 points. Our goal difference is +11. Theirs is +6. obviously ignoring what we would have thought of Mansfield at the start of the season, this fixture, is this the hardest team to come to the Kairos this season so far?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, we had Peter, not Peter. That was away.
That was away. Peterborough was away.
Huddersfield was
was away, wasn't it?
We had Wickham at the start of the season, but it was first match, so it doesn't really count.
It was a gimme.
Well, it was 4-3. It was tight, but we got there. But yes, probably. Now that people are informed, now that we see where it's laying out there, we had Huddersfield, I think, at home, which was a tough one. But yes.
Wickham was a weird one because it was 3-2. We won, but we were up 3. Weren't we up 3-0? I want to say we were definitely. Hold on.
Yeah, that was a treat. Yeah, sorry. 3-2. Yeah.
But again, that's one of those ones where when I say gimme, I mean, you're right. It was a very tight game, so probably bad example. But that's something that I do see with the start of the season. I would have preferred to have played Mansfield week 1, 2, or 3. Like, do you know what I mean? At this point, like you said, it's too early, but I would have rather the away leg maybe first and then take this home leg later on. But this is a good test, and I don't know. Do you think that it's not do or die, but do you think it's imperative that we do grab all 3 points from this one?
No, I think it's a little bit imperative we don't lose it. I think Mansfield will be much happier with a draw than we will.
Yeah.
We will be going out looking for those full 3 points and are capable of doing so. And I am more comfortable playing strong sides at home than with our away performance. So I think the 3 points here is very possible. And why it's important for the moment is people put a lot of focus on where your spot is in the league, almost irrelevant of your games played. They don't seem to adjust for that. So Mansfield at the moment on a points per game basis is ahead of us. Anyway, if we win, if we take all 3 points in this next match, we will then be 4 points ahead, and their game in hand won't even leapfrog us anymore. So then they will be truly behind us on that level. So from that perspective, I think it's important because it's adding 3 points to us, but it's taking 3 points away from them.
Do you know where Mansfield are in the form table, like current form table?
I don't know exactly, but very high up there. Yeah, they've had very good results lately because they were a little bit weaker to start than we were. They're on better form lately.
Okay. Yeah, they're in a
and they've scored in almost every single match. I think there's only been one that they haven't scored in.
So they're the second most in form. Yeah, I think. They're the second most in form, it looks like. First is Wickham, and they've won the last 5 in the league. So they're on a bit of a tear. But
and they're due for a loss. All I hear when I hear that is that they're due for a loss.
Yeah. And look at it, and it is at home, and I think we do have an advantage at home now. Like we know, it's a known thing. We do that. It must be hard to come away from home to try and beat us at the racecourse, and I commend anyone who can do that this season. Can Mansfield do it? Obviously, yet to be seen. But I think you're right. Like they're gonna play for the draw, and I think that'll also mean that it'll be. I wouldn't say they'll play for the draw, but they're not going to try
with it. Yes,
if they know that their ceiling is the draw, they're not going to try and do anything risky to try and take all 3 points. Yeah. So I genuinely think that it's going to be low scoring because of that. I don't think it'll be massively high scoring. I don't know what we're going to get into score predictions in a minute, but like, do you think I don't think it's going to be a goal fest. I'll probably be wrong. It'll probably be 5-4, but but I don't think it will be. What are your perspective on Mansfield and scoring it away from home?
Yeah, I think this one is most likely going to be a goal between it. Yep. And yes, it's probably going to be low scoring.
Yeah.
But if it's high scoring, it's probably still going to be tight. Yeah. And a bit of back and forth. Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Well,
Rouse, what about you, man?
give us your prediction.
Oh, okay.
Go on,
Oh, was
Paddy.
that me you want?
Yeah, give us your
Okay, me
prediction.
first. 3-1.
3-1.
That's a good scoreline.
I like that.
I like
I
to, I like
like
to be
that
more
scoreline.
positive when I'm predicting something, you know.
Okay. All right.
I'll
Adrian?
throw out a little bit of hopium there.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
I've
going.
just said one goal is probably more likely, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go for 3-1. Yeah.
Well,
Gotta go
that's my guess is 1-0 to Wrexham. I don't think it'll be. I think we'll score early and then we'll be playing the rest of it, trying to get another one, but maybe not reach it. So that's just where I'm kind of going with it. Rouse?
I'm going to throw a cat among the pigeons on this one.
12-6.
Not 12-6. What are you, high?
That's your job, mate. That's not mine.
No, but I think I look at Wrexham. They're going to be reeling off getting, kicked out of the FA
That's
Cup.
true.
They do really well at home. I think maybe a few players are due for a good breakout.
Maybe Mullen.
Maybe we'll get a Mullen hat trick out of it. But I'm going to actually call this one 4-0 to Wrexham.
Oh, fuck off.
You are going to get so clipped up for that one if
I
things
know.
go badly.
Especially if we lose.
That's almost a Peterborough special. I'm sorry.
4-0.
Well, I don't know. I just it'll be interesting if it comes out that way, but I don't have a lot of hope that it will, but I'm going to throw it out there and say that this is going to be a good game.
This is the frustrating thing about Rousey is he predicts the most ludicrous wins. Like he'll be like, "Nah, they're shit." Like we played Birmingham, I think he predicted 3-0 Wrexham or something. Anyway, I know it didn't happen that time, but 99.9% of the time, Rousey is right with those. And I'll slander him all week. I'll be like, "You are so high. Shut up. That is so stupid." And then it's always right, and I look like an absolute dick. So, you know what? Until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to say, Rousey, good luck, mate. I hope it's 4-0. I fucking hope it's 4-0.
Well, you know what? Stockport just got slapped. Maybe it's time for Mansfield to take a slap.
Yeah.
We got
exactly.
it last year, so we're good.
True. Yeah. We've had ours. We've had ours.
We had ours last year.
We're done.
Oh, that is awesome.
I was at that match. I'm going to keep saying it forevermore. I was at the Stockport match where they slapped us 5-0 last season.
You were at that game. Oh,
yeah, and I was in the home side away at Stockport because I couldn't get tickets for the away.
Okay, now my next question is going to be like it might be a rough topic. Was that the only game you saw?
No.
Okay, what was the other game you saw?
I went to 2 last season. I went to Crawley Town home, in our temp stand.
Wait, was that the one where it was like 5-5, or am I remembering that wrong?
No. That one was easy win. It was 3-0, I think. I'm not sure exactly.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. All right.
Now,
good. I was really reeling that you just saw that, and I'm like, could you imagine just getting there? You see that, and then you just go home, and you're like, well, fuck. Like that's what I've seen of Wrexham. That's what I have nightmares about. Rousey and I going over November, going to 2 games and seeing 2 losses, and not just any loss. I'm talking getting spanked. Like, it's just scary.
Well, Stockport isn't that far from Wrexham, which is why we chose that, and then we visited Wrexham at the time. Then we went over a second time, did Crawley last season. I'm just back now as well from the last match.
Did you drop your guts? Did you drop your guts in the home end? Like if that's me,
that was another away. I was down in London.
I'm loading up on kebabs, on chicken, on pizza, and lots of cheese. I'm slamming it down. I'm getting ready, and if I get into the home end or the enemy camp, and just sit there and fart all game
I had the pleasure of seeing our 1-1 with Charlton Athletic where they scored that penalty in the last minute. Last kick of the game. So I was away this time with the
still not a penalty. Still not a penalty.
I said I'll say it every week, day of the week. If it was on the other foot, we'd be screaming it should have been a pen.
Yeah. Now it might not have been a penalty, but it's close enough that like it could be given. And actually, the one thing that people forget as well, right, that I didn't. This is my opinion on it. Is look at what happened beforehand. We had Revan take the player down on the wing, which led to the free kick. Free kick came in to the potential handball, and pretty much everybody will agree it's probably 50-50. From the ref's viewpoint or whatever, it was about 50-50. Well, you've just had a foul. You caused all of this, so I'm giving it to the away team.
Yeah,
Very
it tipped the
often
scale.
very often the home team will get away with something like that. But I think having come from a deliberate foul out on the wing, he tipped the scale the other way in a 50-50. Said, okay, I'll give it.
We did say that it were like the
Yeah.
Seb taking the foul was probably the first and biggest mistake out of all of it, really. Not
I
mistake.
don't
He
think it
was a
was
professional
necessary. He should
foul,
have done it
but
faster. He should have done it faster.
yeah,
If he was
yeah,
going
it
to
should have
do
been
it,
quicker.
he should have been quicker doing it
Yeah.
and had him further away.
Yeah.
I personally am not a massive fan of the professional foul. I think people do it too often. When it's absolutely needed, yeah, I don't mind it. But I'm not a massive fan of it. I think in a lot of cases they take them down and there's other people covering. You know, you do that, in my opinion, if you don't trust your goalie. Like we have a great goalie. You have to put some trust there that, look, if a shot comes off, leave it to the keeper.
Mm.
Now again, that's a fine balance. I'm not saying never or whatever, but yeah.
It's a good take, though. But I'm glad you got to see that, mate, because as much as it did hurt, I did say that it was still a good game in the sense that we didn't think much. And if you had have asked for a draw beforehand to Charlton, you probably would have taken it. So,
Yeah.
so not bad in the end. But Rouse, I now want to ask you a question because, Rousey, you have talked about Mansfield and Stockport all season, and Rousey loves a bit of the trash talk. And
Okay.
he loves saying, like, we've talked about it, and he's been right with Stockport, especially. I was defending Stockport. I said, look, still give him some credit. They're doing well enough. They're not getting relegated. They're playoffs positions, things like that. Mansfield's one where I see Rousey make mention of it during the season, whatnot. Did you see this coming from Mansfield, and do you think it will last? Is this something temporary, or is it something that you see them seeing out for the rest of the season? They will be a challenge for playoffs and a challenge for that second spot, or do you think it's all just smoke and mirrors?
I reckon they're going to be in playoffs.
Cool.
I actually think they are legit. They are one of the teams that are challenging. I think they're going to be thereabouts in the playoffs this season because they have been battle tested against Birmingham, and they've gone up against a few other teams which you know yet to see how they go fully away against the tough teams like us and that. But I think we can expect them to be there or thereabouts in the playoffs.
And Stockport?
Stockport, I think they're going to be outside the top 10.
What about yourself?
I don't think they're smoke and mirrors, first off.
Yep.
But I think they're fragile. Stockport has hit a bit of a dip now that I don't think is caused by injuries. But both them and Mansfield are a few injuries away from a major downturn in their results. Look at Stockport last season. At the very start of the season, they were missing a load of players, and they didn't find their form then until coming into Christmas, and then that was it for the rest of the season. So that could completely derail their seasons. But if that doesn't happen, yeah, I kind of agree. Maybe with the dip of form on Stockport now, close to the top six, but maybe an 8 or 9 is something like that. Mansfield could sneak into the top six again without any major injuries. Um, and we'll see from there, but there's a long way to go yet.
Yeah.
We've had our little injury crisis at the moment, and look, touch wood, we don't get much more. If we survive through till January, um, I think we will re-up with some new players in January. If we can manage the results between now and then, if the two new players that came in can do the job we're asking of them, then we'll have some new players in January, and a few things will change. I think they'll push.
What position do you think we want to bolster then if we do get into that, when we get into that window?
Striker.
Yep.
Unless Mullen comes back to massive form.
Or Daddy decides to take off and be like an absolute godsend of a striker. We end up signing him for the rest of the
We
season
could
because he can
re-sign
only
him,
sign
yeah. He's only signed till January. We'll see how that goes. He could be one position because you kind of talk about we actually maybe need two. Marriott's now gone. I don't think Marriott will be fit enough to claim a place come January. So he'll be left out of the squad. Unfortunately, then, unless he has a new contract no one knows about, he's out of contract in the summer. I think there's a good chance he's going to end up missing out in the summer again, unless we stay in League One. But that other position with Mullen,
and that's so bad.
Could be replaced, but only if we can find him. January is a bad time to find strikers.
Yeah.
Now, so it's a bit hit and miss whether we can get somebody of a next level above Mullen to come in.
Yeah, I think it's such hard luck on Marriott, because he was doing really well. And you do have a very, very valid point in the fact that, will he be good enough to come back into the team, or will he have to work his way back in? And when he comes back, is he going to be good enough to be registered? And I think having a break like that, it's going to be a long time out without even kicking the ball.
Yeah,
you could be right. You could be bang on it there that he would have to be deregistered and not play another game for the rest of the season and either work his way back into the squad that way, or he's seen his days at Wrexham.
Well, he can't work his way back in because if he's not registered, there'll be no cup matches left anyway for him to play. So his job will be between whenever he gets back to the end of the season to prove his fitness in training with the guys and give a question in the summer. If we stay in League One, he could be kept as an easy option. But if you get to the summer and let's say we're going up, if we're going up to the Championship, you need someone then potentially as your second striker. Are you going to choose Mullen or are you going to choose Marriott? Well, unfortunately, here's where finances come in. How can you, in any respect, can you choose Marriott, even if you assume he's better? Because Mullen has the contract. You can't break the contract. You're going to end up paying him out. So Marriott's in a very bad spot, I think. He may have played his last game for us.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, on that bombshell.
Yeah.
Paddy, mate, you are a fucking legend. And
absolute legend, mate.
I love our interactions and may there be many, many more. But you give yourself a quick plug, what you've got coming up, give how can people find you on socials, that sort of stuff. Give the floor over to you to promote yourself.
I mentioned at the start, I'll just run through it very briefly again. Yeah, on all the socials, just look for the Local Pundit, and you'll find us there. We're on X and the usual places, X mainly. But we do have a Discord, so you can get invited to that through any of our videos. We'll put the Discord link in. We have some great fun there. We do a lot of chatting in the Discord. A lot of our private talk goes on there. You guys are in there. Maybe you should come over and say hi a little bit more. But then Josh does a daily show pretty much Monday to Friday, US early morning time. He goes through all the news. Then evening US time, we do lots of different shows. We invite some of the fans on, just get to know them. I do a data dive sometimes. So we have the Power of Stats show, it's called. My next one is probably going to be on Parky himself. I need to do a deep dive into his results and his stats, which will be fun. But yeah, two Americans, an Australian, and a Paddy walk into a podcast. Come join us. We have hours and hours of content every week.
Good
so
stuff.
If this podcast is not enough for you, we have plenty of hours to
spread around.
And it's the most professional show you will ever see live streamed. First take,
until I get on it.
No second take.
Until I get on it.
I'll say it and I'll say it again. It's such a winning formula. That's it.
It's the rehearsal. That's it. That's Josh is saying. Doesn't matter what happens, keep going.
Just keep pushing. Love that. Nah, best formula in the game,
Yeah,
mate. It's such a great idea. I love call-in chat shows. I wish there
yeah.
was more of them with football pods. So the fact that you guys are doing it is amazing. Again, don't worry, we'll never end up doing that kind of thing because of legal reasons. It's just but mate, absolutely pleasure to have you on. And honestly, I really hope when we head over to Wrexham, you and Josh can be there as well, because we just think that we all become a little family in the end, and it'd be just nice to be with the family.
Yeah, I've met some of the other guys as well from I went to the Fearless in Devotion live when I was over there. And I've been meeting some of the others. It's easier for me to jump over. Obviously, I'm a lot closer. So when you are coming over, just let me know what matches you're going to, and you never know, I might be able to just swing by and say hi.
That'd be
Sounds
awesome.
good. Sounds good. All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that chat. After the break, we're gonna wrap things up like we always do, but be sure to give the Local Pundit a like, subscribe, share the shit out of it, as I like to say. And yeah, go say Two Beards sent you. You know, give him some love too. So, guys, after the break, we will wrap things up. Let's go. Woo! Well, that is it for another week, y'all. I think I've done that one before, but fuck it, I'll do it again.
Love it.
We got some new owners, Adrian.
And that's us. We've bought in. We did it. We put all our coins together, and we're
the Allen family.
yeah. We are, yeah. Because when it's what is it? When you're here, we're family. What's that? Olive Garden? Like they're saying, because when you're here, you're family.
I mean, that was pretty good. I mean, obviously they're a very, very big name within the medical industry. Obviously they haven't gone to big pharma like Pfizer or someone like that. They've gone to someone that has more of a wholesome reputation. They've done a hell of a lot of work in Syracuse in New York in the community there. And now they're looking to do the same thing to Wrexham as well. And
they've done a lot of thing with sport as well. So like they're what are they? It's part of Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Ownership. Portland Trailblazers, I want to say as well. I'm probably talking out my ass, but just off the brief articles I've been reading, it looks good. And to be honest, mate, more money, less problems. You know what I mean? Like there can't be a bad thing. I think the good thing about the decision is obviously they're not majority stakeholders. They're obviously just kind of contributing to it. So it's good to have them a part of it, I think. But I also like that Rob and Ryan are kind of keeping it a bit close to the chest. It is their passion and their love, and they don't want to steer anyone wrong anyway. So they'll see how it goes, and might turn into a major slot. I know it's a lot, still a big stake that they've got bought in, but I don't think it's a majority stake. So
yeah, well, that'll be interesting to see how that one goes out. But I definitely support it because they're obviously preparing their way to get into the Premier League. So I'm excited to see what happens. I think, when you look at it, we're going to need probably maybe another one or two of those investors to come into the club to get us to the Premier League. But we're heading obviously in the right direction, and Rob and Ryan still making the decisions and the choices about who they're bringing in. So look, I'm all for it. I think we're looking good. We're looking very good, and all of a sudden, I think we can now compete in championships. So, which we're going to need a shitload of money next season.
If we get there. So I think the big thing about this is, it's all semantics. 46 games. We're only at game 14, sorry. We're coming up to, so still a long way to go. So hopefully we can get there and then, hold our ground. But regardless, I still see a good weekend ahead.
Hells yeah. All right. Well, let's say we end this here. That was a good episode.
Great episode. Our guest was like one of the best football brains we've had on. Very, very intelligent individual and just fun to chat with. So good fun.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of respect and time of day for Paddy and other content creators as well that choose to align themselves with Wrexham content.
Yes.
We're all one big family at the end of the day. So, guys, that is it for this week. This is Two Beards Wrexham podcast. I'm your host, Rousey. And that is Adrian. By all means, become a fuckhead. Links will be in the description down below. Reach out to us. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think or what you like. And if you agree with anything we said or disagree with anything we said, just let us know. And you might get featured in the next episode. We'll leave it at that. Okay, let's do it.
Love it. Well done.
Get your dicks out, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week on the Two Beards Wrexham podcast. Bye.
What do you mean, get your dicks out? Mine's already out.